Hello there, boys and girls. It's time once again for that guy with a face made for radio, SidAlpha, and we're here once again to ask and answer one very simple question. Is it worth it? Today we're looking at Sorcery by Inkle Limited. Now, Sorcery is a choose-your-own-adventure style game / visual novel that's been done in a fairly interesting art style. Now, in the game, you play a character that is tasked to set out and retrieve the Crown of Kings. Crown of the King, actually, I should say, and how you go about doing so is entirely up to you. Through the course of your adventures, you will encounter goblins, trolls, assassins, witches, wizards, and oh, so much more. But let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at the game proper. And before we even get started, I know what some of you are probably thinking now. Hang on, Sid, what about the options menu? Well, to be honest, there isn't one. And yes, I know, guys, normally I would rip the game to shreds for not having one, but given the game mechanics and art style, it really doesn't need one for what it's trying to accomplish. And, I don't want to unnecessarily cast a bad light on this for something that, sometimes a certain game may not necessarily need. I know I've been hypercritical of games for things like that in the past, but I think I may have been slightly unfair on with them, and that is something that I've been trying to better myself on moving forward. So let's start in with Book 1, Part 1, The Shamutanti Hills. You'll notice right away that a lot of these names in this game are a huge mouthful, and we're going to take the woman because I always like taking the ladies out. You have walked the wilds of Kakabad, through Kare and the spiteful backlands, all the way into Mampang. You have survived traps, thieves, serpents, and vengeful gods, and now it is here. The Crown of Kings. And guys, of course, you're going to notice that no, there's no audio in the game right now, because you can turn the music on and off, and there's no voice acting in the game whatsoever. And the audio is actually really screwing with my recording equipment because I was incapable of adjusting the levels, so I just opted for turning it off to make things easier, and so you guys could actually hear me. So let's keep going here. It is said the crown was never forged, only found, by Shalana the Reformer, a lowly foot soldier who became emperor of the Eastern world. Such is the power of the crown. The air around it crackles with influence. What do you do? I take it, of course. Nothing bad can happen, right? Right? Your destiny awaits. With the crown in your hands, you will be as powerful as Shalana. The goblins are arming, the giants are waking, and the birdmen carving cruel daggers from stone. War will come, but you will prevent it. That doesn't make much sense. War will come, but you will prevent it. Anyways, not going to analyze that too much. But then, the image of the crown begins to flicker. You rush forwards. It's a trap! And startle yourself awake. You're alone, exhausted, in the little hut in the outpost settlement. Your unimaginable journey is not even a single step begun. Inkle presents Steve Jackson's Sorcery. Part 1, The Shamutanti Hills. Okay, so before we do too much further, this is one of the maps that you will find yourself on, and no, it's not the only one. Everything in this game is done in this wonderful hand-drawn style, and to be honest, this particular art style sort of draws me back to maps I'd seen done of Winnie the Pooh's 100-Acre Wood, which does make me feel a mild amount of nostalgia, to be honest. But this is basically how you get around in the world, and just to avoid spoilers, I've restarted my game. But the introduction scenes show you quite nicely how to get around and the basic mechanics of the game. So we start with clicking on our character token here. It is sunrise. You dress, breakfast on bread and goat's milk, and collect the pack and sword from beside your bed. First, we'll pray for luck. Before you leave, you close your eyes and raise a prayer to your spirit guide. This morning, it has the form of a panther, but what will it become once your journey truly begins? A great calm descends upon you. Outside the hut, you hear the outpost settlement stirring into life. Test the blade. You pause to test the blade of the sword against your thumb. The blacksmith has done well. The edge is keen and draws a narrow line of blood. And time to go. Time, then, to depart. You lift back the flap of the hut and step into the early morning sunshine. Alright, so you click and drag, basically, so real easy game mechanics with everything. Eyes follow you as you leave the hut and walk towards the great Shamutanti wall. The frontiers people of this tiny settlement are well aware of your mission. I'll greet them. You turn to them and bow. Some smile in reply, but are too afraid to approach. Others make gestures of protection. You are going beyond the wall, so they believe you to be cursed. A man is waiting on the path to the Cantapani Gate, the final doorway between Analand and the wilds of Kakhaban. See, guys, remember what I said about the names? You recognize the sergeant and the Sightmaster warriors. He holds out his hand to you. Greetings, Sergeant. He touches his forehead with 2 fingers. You're almost ready, my lady, he says. I have for you a gift from the king, 24 gold pieces. It is all we can spare this time. So this is how you set your difficulty level in the game. So do you take all of it and have an easy time of things? Do you take half and go for a harder difficulty? Or do you refuse it like I did on my first time playing through and go out there with no gold and no rations and see if you can survive? We're actually going to do that. I do not need your charity. Take it, the sergeant insists. Analand is counting on you to survive. Analand need not fear. Very well then, Sergeant replied. He put the pouch back into his tunic. You must collect your spellbook if you wish magic to aid you, and should you wish to practice your swordplay, I will go one last round with you. And he points with his staff towards the training ground. So we'll go collect our spellbook first. Spells! One of the huts, set slightly back from the others, is decorated with glyphs and strange symbols. A terrible smell emanates from its doorway. This is the hut of the chief mage. Bloody, 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 blah. Go inside. You lift the flap. Do you understand how to use this? Tell me. Each spell is crafted through the alignment of 3 stars. Begins. The spell Zap, for example, is made by aligning Zarathustra, Igus, and Peni. Peni? Peni? Peni. Whatever. But that is not important. What matters is what the spell is called and what it does. Zap will give you control over lightning. Hot will create a fireball. Foff will create a force field around you. Shall I continue? I've heard enough. There's no real reason for us to go through all of that. However, though, guys, when you take a look at the spellbook here, it does give you all the spells and what they do. And, of course, the ones that are lit up here at the top are spells that you're capable of casting right now. Let's see, this requires 1 gold piece to work, and it's actually a lot more extensive than I thought it was going to be, all things considered. And I thought that was pretty impressive. And I found out as I went through the course of the game that those are not the only spells you will find. Through your travels, you will find additional spells that you will be able to make use of. And I thought that was really great. That the spellbook you have now is basically the starter kit, and you can build off of it with and add to it. Go to the training ground. This shows you what combat is like. Okay, so here you are. You're facing off with your opponent, and you have your attack power bars. Both you and your opponent does. Of course, means he is your opponent. He says, first defend yourself against me. Okay. I will now defend myself, he says. Whatever attack you play will damage me, but strong attacks use up more power. You should choose a weak attack. So what we'll do is we'll do a 0.5. Swing with a very weak attack. Good choice. A stronger attack would have wasted more of your power. I will defend myself again, he says. You play a low attack, overpowering the Sightmaster Sergeant again, who raises his defense. He raises his defense, but says nothing. Are you serious? Are you going to do anything other than just stand there and defend? My next attack will be one of my strongest, he declares. Well, it's going to be one of my strongest too. Oh, son of a bitch, he beat me. Ow! So you see what happens there. You have opposed rolls, and whoever devotes the most power into it, and we'll try and overpower him. Hey, we overpowered him. We win. Yay! And you can go back and try it again. First, defend yourself to me. Youchi! My next attack will be medium strength. Hosha! My next attack will be weak. Well, mine will be strong, and you will be dead. So you see how that works there, guys. And, of course, different opponents will have different patterns and different styles and things of that nature. So you will need to, use some intuition, maybe a little trial and error, of course. And it can be pretty interesting. We'll approach the gate, because this shows you what happens when you have the ability to cast a spell. You get this zoom out window there. Whoa! Okay, and you have different constellations here, so we choose our stuff. Duh! You weave the spell. One by one, the great tumblers of the door begins to creak and groan. The hinges churn with a noise like hail on a canvas roof. Now, these gates have not opened since our last champion was lost, the sergeant says. I wish you more luck than he. Perhaps you will even meet him on your travels. I fear he is dead. Sightmaster nods, peering at something on the horizon. I believe he is returning, but transformed. I hope you do not meet the same fate. Ooh, I wonder if it's someone you have to fight. Probably. Enter the gate. When you have the crown, find the highest point you can find. We will be watching. Watching from where? From here. The Sightmaster warriors are selected from birth for their incredible powers of telescopic vision. You cannot help but wonder how far he can see. Tell me what lies ahead, O telescopic-sighted one. This path leads first to the Cantopani, a settlement of traders, though most are rogues and thieves. You should be there before the sun has reached its peak. From there, 3 routes lead on to Kristatanti, but no single route is safe. Kakhabad is a land of devils. And beyond Kare? I cannot see that far, he says. But once you have crossed the city port of traps, you will enter the backlands. They say that day and night they are controlled by forces other than the sun, and from Kare too, your progress will be watched. It is time to go. Striding away, you pass through the gate. The faces of the folk watching your departure reveal the hopes that the rest of you in your quest. The early morning air is crisp, and the rising sun paints the slopes in shades of peaceful beauty, concealing the evil that lies ahead. And we step out into the world here. Path winds through slopes of wild scrubland. The countryside is deserted, and the eerie silence is broken only by the cawing and the occasional crow. There is a spell for hearing what they say, but you do not have the equipment it requires. The birds appear to pause in the air to examine you as they pass. Stupid creatures, they pose no threat, so you ignore them. Barely an hour beyond the wall, the air begins to grow foul. The Shamutanti hills are infested with the pestilence of the backlands. It saps the energy from your body, leaving you feeling nauseous and weak. You cover your mouth with your neck scarf, but it does not good. They warned you of this. You will grow accustomed to it the longer you are out here, but for the moment you must be very careful. So this is basically, guess what, sucker? You're level 1. You got to work up to the power that you started out at. That's right. And this is where things start branching. And of course, depending on which decisions you make and which ways you go, other branching paths will open up to you, as any Choose Your Own Adventure book will. It is worth noting, though, Oh, you have your items window here, which, you know, here's my weapons. I have sword. I have spellbook. And you will collect other things, so this will get more stuff in it as your travels progress. It's worth noting, though, that there's no real save point, as it were. Every time you close the game, it will leave you exactly where you were. But if you make a bad decision or feel like you need to go backwards, you have the rewind feature, which you can actually, every single one of those points that I visited there, I can rewind to and choose a different path or a different way of doing things, which I thought was a really interesting and somewhat innovative way to handle that sort of thing. And I really liked it, and it will be useful. There will be moments where you will want to go back and choose a different path or a different method of doing things. There will be moments where you die, so you naturally have to go back a little bit and choose a different method. Or you did really poorly in a fight, but you finally learned the monster's pattern, and so you want to go back, redo it, rewind, redo the fight so you don't lose any stamina. Things of that nature. It's really useful. You will use it quite a bit. So, and so overall, my impressions of it are, it's fairly basic, as a choose-your-own-adventure like this is expected to be. But, bearing that in mind, I had a tremendous amount of fun with it, and I thought it was a fantastic game and one that I look forward to continue playing. It's been 100% stable. I've had no crashes or issues with the game whatsoever. Overall, it's been absolutely fantastic, and for the price tag, it's well worth the investment. So if you are a fan of choose your own adventure games, this is definitely something for you to check out. So once again, this has been Sorcery by Inkle Limited. The first 2 chapters are out now. The second 2 chapters are on their way. Unfortunately, guys, I do not know if you have to pay for the additional chapters or if they will be included like a Telltale game series. And I was not able to garner that information, but the amount of story and content that this game actually offers rivals most visual novels, and is much more interactive than any other visual novel, and actually provides you more content and more interactivity for the same price as a visual novel. So it is very, very much worth your money. So, you know, once again, say it for a third time, this is Sorcery by Inkle Limited. It is available on Steam right now for $9 or your original equivalent. And yeah, definitely check it out, guys. It's been great. Once again, my name has been SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time. Hey boys and girls, thanks for watching. If you're interested in video game reviews or indie game first impressions, feel free to click on the link to your left. If you're interested in staying more up to date with either PC gaming news, story time, or whatever the hell I decide to put in that window for today, feel free to click on the link to your right. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I only grow if you decide you want me to. So the sub button is right there at the bottom. Go ahead. I promise it works great. If it doesn't, then I'll make it up to you with a box of donuts or something. Also, if you want to follow me on those Twitters or Facebooks, the links for those will be posted in the description down below, along with the link to my Patreon. So if you decide that you want to be generous enough to help support my channel and help me work towards the goal of abolishing ads on my channel, that'd be great too, and I would love you forever. Once again, guys, really thanks for watching. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you had a good time, and I hope to see you next time.